Hi there, welcome to today's Business Growth Club show. We are so pleased to have you here. The theme is growth marketing.
We're talking about actions and consequences today.
It's all about purpose.
Driving business growth with using KPIs.
We're talking money mindset.
The Growth Club, I mean, not to oversell it, but it's so well organised. So yeah, it was totally invaluable.
The Growth Club, coupled alongside with the Masters that I'm doing at Strategic Leadership at the moment, both of those things happening collectively have definitely transformed, and the Growth Club did have a massive impact for our business.
What is it that attracted you to come to the Growth Club in the first place? Let me just start off with that.
Well, because it was the two of you, basically.
Good evening, everybody. So here we are on a very chilly Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. It's an interesting start to the year, isn't it, everyone, in 2021? So fast, go backwards a few months. COVID pandemic just about to bite in the UK. And it's around about this time that me and Joe got together to Business Growth Club. So we're fully aware of what's going on in the business landscape. And if anything, probably tonight's show is a fantastic opportunity to actually connect and introduce the theme of tonight's show. Hi, Joe.
Hiya, and Happy New Year, everyone. I know we're in, certainly here in the UK, we're on lockdown 3.0. But that said, hope you're all safe and doing well. And also to wish happy 50th birthday to a regular viewer, Richard. It was Richard's birthday on New Year's Eve. I know it was going to be a quiet one, but I think he was going to have an enjoyable one. So happy birthday to you, Richard, as well. We've got a great show tonight, haven't we, Mahmood?
We absolutely have. And I think Richard's probably at home in his Vegas uniform and costume and all the rest of it. Yeah, so great show. I think it's pretty much picking up a lot of the themes we've talked about before, but I think it'd be a good idea to share with everybody the part one on some of the stuff that we're going to be covering in the Business Growth Club. So we make no apologies for saying that. Obviously, it's about sharing content, giving value, and actually giving an insight into what the Business Growth Club is also about.
Yeah, it's the first of two shows. So we're going to set you up so you can get 2021 off to a flying start. So we're going to do half this week, get you going, half next week. And, you know, the promise that you get from us is there's no BS. We actually deal with the nitty-gritty of business, not just the nice fluffy bits around the edges. They're good to do as well, but you need to do the whole package. And what you've got throughout all of 2021 on the Business Growth Club show with me and Mahmood is us helping you, each side of you, helping you with your business, especially through what's going on right now, more so than ever. So we're here for you. Let us have your questions. Let us have your comments. If you're watching on replay, still ask away and we will come back to you. We'd also love to know what you are focused on in 2021. So let us know.
Yeah, and also let us know what your thoughts are. I mean, as the year kicks off, a lot of us, had a perception that, COVID wasn't quite over. Things are going to happen. So how are you approaching 2021? Are you coming into this year with optimism, with a positive mindset, thinking, you know what, if anything, this is the time to take advantage of what I've seen before and get my act together and actually put a business plan together and move forward? Or are you sitting there under your duvet thinking, I want the world to stop and get off and, join the space station or something? So let us know in your comments. I'll be really interested. We'd be really interested to see what your thoughts are.
Yeah, and although this lockdown is similar in a way it's very similar to when it first happened to us in March, I think we've learned a lot, all of us, since the last time that this happened. I think we've been quicker all around to be more agile and responsive. And, there is an end in sight with the vaccine rollouts and so on. So at least we know that there is something good coming at some point in terms of ending all of this. So it's really about battening down the hatches, getting through it, looking for opportunity, and investing in the right places and getting a good start to this year. Don't be put off from having a good start to this year. And that all really begins with knowing what you want, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, Joe. And I think that, one of the advantages, I suppose, of last year, if you want to put it in those terms, is we've been through this iteration before. You said lockdown 3. In the city of Leicester, where I currently live, It's the city that's first in lockdown. So we know what that. It's a very wary feeling here, but you're going to really try and disconnect yourself from that wariness, that thing, oh my gosh, there's light at an end of a tunnel. We know that businesses did very positively last year in terms of, despite COVID pandemic, changing landscapes, everything else that's going on. Business doesn't stop. People don't stop buying. Trade doesn't come to a halt there. And if you're in business and you want to continue being in business, you've really got to connect with the idea of planning, and organise yourself for this year.
Yeah. So let us know what you're thinking of doing. Let us know if you're feeling that anything is particularly challenging right now, and if we can help you with that, then we certainly will do our best, and I'm sure we can. Just having a conversation around it can and hearing another point of view can be very helpful. So it's about thinking, with everything that's going on, the first thing that we do with our Business Growth Club members, which the next one starting later on this month, is to really work out what success looks like. And the definition of success is different for every single business owner.
Yep.
There are as many definitions of success as there are business owners, and in fact more, because our definitions of success change as we learn more, as we develop, as we grow, and we're at different life stages. Our business gets at different stages. So it's always really important to be thinking about where we want to be in the future, and also thinking about the short term and building that bridge from between here and now.
Yeah, on that's a great point. We use the idea of your success. So by all means, see what your competition is doing, see what other people are doing, but your success is your marker, it's your idea of what success constitutes. So whether it's conquering the world or whether it's actually having a lifestyle business, whatever your measure and idea of success, fix on that. Don't fix on what somebody else's definition of success is. You need to really sort of have that sort of batten down.
Yeah, definitely. And the things we do in the Business Growth Club, so every week there's a short activity to do. People take between 20 minutes through to sometimes 45 minutes to do the activity. It's all about you and your business. It's to get you thinking differently about what you're doing and get your thoughts down on paper. And so there's an activity. We also meet live every week for a board meeting. So we help you with, we talk about the stuff that everybody's been working on during the week, and we're there to help you in person as well. And people who can't make the board meeting, we work in small groups. So, everybody's got the opportunity to contribute and ask stuff and get stuff for your business specifically. But if you can't make the weekly board meeting, then it's all available on replay as well. So you can watch it back after. But what we do in week one is really get that definition of success well thought through. So we'll ask you, what success looks like, and there's some different activities to do that. We also ask you to do a SOAR analysis. So that's SOAR, which are strengths, opportunities, aspirations, and results. And you set that out and you start to really prioritize what your big ticket items are for 2021. And our previous members have loved that, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. And just a thing before we get to a bit more meat here, if you're used to working on your own, so you're not actually used to working part of a team, a few things to bear in mind. Everything that goes on in the Business Growth Club, everybody signs up to this idea of confidentiality. Everybody signs up to this idea of respecting each other's space, inputs, and all the rest of it. Even if you come to it and you think, I'm not quite sure what I want to do, which direction I want to go through, you do find a lot of benefit of actually working within a group of like-minded entrepreneurs, people who want to move their business style forward here. So just bear in mind that you're not alone. There will be other people who will be going through similar pain points and similar frustrations and delights that you will. And certainly, but here's the thing, if you think it's an easy ride that you just turn up and a plan will just magic itself, then that's not going to happen, and maybe the business club isn't for you. So you've got to invest some of your own energy and time. There is work. We don't mark the homework, by the way, but you've certainly got to invest some of yourself. Get involved. There is a structure. There is a procedure. Me and Joe both come from backgrounds where we're very used to supporting people, helping people. Get involved with some of what I call the harder stuff as well as the softer stuff. But effectively, that vision board, that idea, what's in there to get it dumped out is going to be really a key to get going on to the next step.
Yeah, and the workbooks and things that we provide you with are fab. They're really easy. You can do them online. You can do them, print them out and write in them and draw on them or whatever. It doesn't matter, but we make it really accessible, and you can do everything at a time and space to suit you. And it is so surprising what people have achieved through investing maybe an hour a week on the weekly board meeting and putting in 20 to 30 minutes at their own convenience, to work through the stuff and the questions that we are asking you to think about. It's not academic stuff for academic stuff's sake at all. It's really practical things that will, are proven to get you thinking differently, to make that gear shift in your business, make that step change. So
absolutely.
That's where we start. What does success look like for you? And it's a very personalized view. And from doing that, then it sort of evolves into the next stage, and you can have a go at working through this and doing this on your own now, after the show if you wanted to, or in the days ahead. Is to think about what big ideas do you have for your business, what do you really want to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. So in terms of, if we're talking about some of the things we're going to be talking about tonight, by the way, we have covered on previous broadcasts. When me and Jo were thinking about this, we were thinking about bringing it together in what it actually looks like. So by all means, check out some of the previous broadcasts. Join the mailing list as well, by the way, and you can actually get some of these put straight into your inbox there as well. But very practical, even though there's an academic framework, perhaps, and a body of theory that underpins that, that's not much good for powering a business forward. It's real practical, hands-on, based on our own, I won't give our ages away, but based on our own collective experience of working our own with other clients and businesses, so there is a real transferability of good knowledge and skills here.
Yeah, I reckon between us, I don't want to offend you.
You couldn't do that.
Please, I'm going to unintentionally offend you. I reckon we've got about 60 years of business experience between us. And that's good business experience. That's not the same 2 years repeated 30 times, which is what the business experience is for many people. So we've got complementary skills and experience, but also we share the same values. So, we're there as resources for you to use.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good point. I'm not offended, actually. 60 years, I think, is a good guesstimate there as well.
Yeah. 5 on my side, 55 on yours.
I'll take that in the spirit that it was meant, Jo.
Only joking. 30 each, I reckon. Yeah.
So listen, you've got the success Jones. We're going to talk about on the next things as well. I would guess, most businesses that I've come across in the last year or two, what I think we talked about it in our Christmas broadcast, and then it's really sort of, made me feel quite, positive, and is how resilient business owners actually are, how they bring a lot of mental strength, how they build a lot of resilience. If anyone's feeling a little bit nervy and tentative, what would be your sort of a persuading factor for them to, get involved in planning their business forward?
I think, if you are nervous or about planning and moving forward and maybe making some changes and thinking through some decisions, then this is a great opportunity for you to do that, because you'll do it in a supported way. You'll get different perspectives. We're not just experienced, we're also qualified, and we've got proven track records in our own businesses, as well as supporting many other businesses. So you'll get access to all of that insight. What you do with your business is your choice at the end of the day, and we're there to help you think that through and help you think through the decisions that you want to make for your business. So do it in a supported way, and also be challenged a bit. We'll do it really nicely, but we will sometimes give you a different point of view or a bit of challenge, and that's really healthy. I think in our businesses, whenever we get super complacent and we don't want to be challenged about anything, and we sort of go into that space, it means we're not looking up and outwards and not seeing risk or not seeing opportunity and not growing,
which is quite dangerous and quite very risky. A very risky attitude to have.
So we're there to support you, but also challenge you in a really friendly and positive way. And we've got your success and your well-being and what you want at heart whenever we do that.
Now, on the ideas front, and I have to say that since partnering up with Joe, I've actually slightly modified my stance on ideas. There is the old cliched expression that ideas are 10 a penny, and my initial interpretation before I teamed up with Joe and actually rethought that approach was that the ideas in themselves aren't the thing that's going to power your business forward. You need the sweat, you need the application, you need the investment, you need all those things, but without the idea, you have nothing to implement. So the ideas are important, your big ideas. Obviously, there are other things that make that idea executable. I'm not sure if that's the right word for it or not, but actually come alive. So, that sweat to get the equity, that application, that investment certainly comes for it. But I'm now more convinced that if you don't have the ideas that come in the first place, you don't really have anything you can turn into something.
That is so true. You need both, don't you? You need the ideas and the gumption and the rigor and the proactivity to go and make those ideas happen. And a lot of people say, well, I've got loads of ideas. Well, firstly, have you really? And, how open to new thinking? How, when's the last time you really challenged yourself to think differently about your business and to look at some opportunities that might not have occurred to you before? When was the last time you really did that? You might be doing that regularly. That's fantastic. But sometimes, I hear people describe themselves as having loads of ideas, but actually what they then do is shut off that they are having ideas, but they close them down too early. They think it's not possible for them, or it's too much effort, or it won't work, and talk themselves out of really good potential stuff far too early. So if you've got a big idea or even a small idea, just something that's different, where you need to make a step to do something differently in your business, then we will help you with that. We'll help you think it through. We'll help you de-risk it and get a really good approach in place and accelerate your progress as well. And if you haven't heard, maybe have a listen. They're all on the YouTube channel. We can put the link in the show notes. The previous episodes that we've had with some of our members, they've really made massive gains.
Absolutely.
In just a few weeks. By the end of Q1 of this year, you could be absolutely flying. And I know it's a difficult climate, but don't let that stop you.
It's interesting you say that. I'm just picking up that point you just made there a moment ago, Joe. And there's a cliche, and cliches are cliches because they're true. That's running through my mind about necessity being the mother of invention. And if we look back at last year, and I think sometimes it's good to review what's happened, as we've talked about on previous broadcasts, to help you power it forward. But if we think about suddenly where we had a situation where the digital world was slowly coming in, people were sort of tinkering about the idea of working from home, we suddenly had a set of events that occurred that said basically life is not going to be as you know it. Suddenly, digital world became a reality for lots of people. Lots of people who might be working in the social enterprise space, the arts space, businesses that have fixed premises like hospitality, suddenly found their business models had to change. They had to pivot. And what they probably just thought was just a floaty idea, they actually executed that and turned that into reality. So if that can happen because of circumstances driving it, just think what benefit there would be if you were the circumstance that was actually driving that change in your business.
Yeah. And one of the great there are many, but one of the great creative questions to ask yourself is, if you've got a big idea that you've been procrastinating on or you're not sure about, is to say to yourself, what if I absolutely had no other choice other than to make this work? How would I go about that? How would I make this happen? And how would I make it successful? What would I do? Think through those answers and then probably go and do it. Because there is always a way if we are creative enough, motivated enough, and cut away the noise. And we will help you to just get that, the noise, the objections, the things that don't really matter, put them to the background, see the important things really clearly so that you can take the steps forward that you need to take. And that will make a massive difference to how well you do this year and getting those ideas off the ground.
Now, just as a small technical hitch, hopefully people might be hearing us on LinkedIn. I know we're being broadcast to Facebook and YouTube. I'm getting the odd message coming up or two about LinkedIn and StreamYard aren't talking to each other. So if you, we're going to upload the video if it turns out to be. But as I say, in all good broadcasts, the show must go on. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there.
No, I don't think there's anything. Looking at the message that's coming up, I don't think there's a lot we can do. It just says it might be. I think it's at LinkedIn's end. So we'll do our best for you, and we'll post the link if it's not going live to LinkedIn. So
we've got vision, we've got big ideas, milestones. I mean, as you know, I'm a fan of analogies and whatever, and you're good at tightening them up for me. Parallel. You think about anything you're going to set out. If you've made a resolution this year to, I don't know, health-wise, or to take up a hobby, or do whatever you plan to do this year in a personal life, you think of that parallel in your business life here. You've got to set yourself milestones. So human beings are very good at actually hitting ourselves around the face with a wet fish and thinking we're not actually achieving anything. So if you've got a northern star, an end point, you've got that idea that you want to get to, you've got a route map, you've got the big idea, you've got to be able to measure somehow your progress as you go along. Because that will reinforce that you're going along the right way. And if you're not, if you're making detours, if you're going backwards, the milestone that you set yourself is, for me, is an excellent way of actually, motivating yourself and measuring your progress as you go along. Yeah,
and so many business owners of different size businesses don't have targets. Some people don't even have revenue or profit targets. Some people do have them, but that's all they have, and that's okay on one level. But if you want to achieve more, do more, work smarter, and get what you want from your business, then it's really, really good to have some other indicators as well that can keep you motivated, can let you know if you need to change direction or do something differently to achieve your goals, and just really, track things and see how you're doing. And sometimes we've found that business owners don't know where to start with putting together a set of key performance indicators or KPIs that will help them achieve what it is they're aiming for. And actually, when we've set by the end of a week or so, they've had a really good set of a balanced scorecard, a small range of really important measures that are going to motivate them and keep them moving forward. And we help them through that process as well, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, so it's about judgments. I mean, KPIs, key performance indicators, you can use other terms if you want. But the question is, if you ask yourself in your business, how am I doing? How can I judge that? It's that idea. What are you judging? What are you looking at? If you want to know, are your customers happy with what you're doing? Well, the question then goes, how do you know? Well, you can either look at things like satisfaction, you look at repeat customers, you look at, converting customers or sort of inquiries to customers. So if you don't have a marker, if you don't have a measure, if you don't have some way to judge that performance, then you're forever going to be chasing your tail and not knowing how you're actually performing.
Yeah, and we will support you massively, as we will through everything, but we will support you through that. We have a week which is dedicated to you thinking through your KPIs for your particular definition of success, for the big ideas that you have and what you want to do. We help you think through those, you'll work through it, and you'll come up with something that's really unique to you and that you're pleased with, and that will fire you up for going forward and making those changes and making good stuff happen. Some people are fine with setting targets and working through it, and that's great if you are. But it's not for everyone. And we've had a whole range of different businesses within the Business Growth Club: social enterprises, arts related businesses,
private businesses,
tech businesses, product businesses, services, and and again, having that support and challenge through the process can give you a different dimension that you might not have thought about if you just sat there on your own without any input. So we love KPI week, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We love all of it. But I think I was really impressed by our previous cohort about how they embraced it. And remember, all these things we're talking about, by the way. So if you're a business thinking, well, I'm a service business, I'm a retailer, I'm a manufacturer, I work in this industry, what's this going to do? We're talking about application and adaptability of principles and practice to whatever type of business you actually are. So, we worked with social enterprise, we've worked with private companies, we've worked with charities, we've worked with service businesses. Doesn't matter. There's a commonality of approach that adopts all of these. And all of these things, you've got to have an idea. You've got to have a vision. You've got to have customers. You've got to be able to know your numbers. You've got to be able to measure your progress. So effectively, it's a framework and an application that we're helping you with. So it's not really prescriptive. It's very adaptive. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but I'm going to use it.
That's a good word. That could be a new word for. No, I think adaptive is a word.
Okay, I'll take that.
And if you've got some KPIs and a vision for 2021, tell us what it is. We'd love to hear from you, and we'd love to know what it is. And we've got Sarah Price. Sarah, awesome member of the Business Growth Club. KPI week was a big week for me. Super helpful. Thank you very much. Happy New Year, Sarah.
Yeah, Happy New Year, Sarah.
Looking forward to catching up really soon as well. So see what you've got planned for 2021. Would love to know.
And I'm not sure she's not going to be embarrassed by it, but I think Sarah's going to come back on a broadcast later on this month as well. But I seem to remember when we first did it, there was a little bit of a trepidation from Sarah about whether she could get to grips with it. But I thought she handled it, assimilated it, and she found a real good positive impact. But she contributed a great deal to that process.
Yeah, and also what Sarah's talked about before is not being concerned about not having the information and the data. But if you don't have the data, don't worry about it. Decide what you'd like to measure if you could, and then think about how you can collect that data.
That's right. Yeah.
Going forward. Yeah. So Sarah, looking forward to having you back on the show when the new year's kicked off, and we're looking forward to hearing about your plans for 2021 and how you're doing on those KPIs as well.
Absolutely.
So that's awesome. Thank you for your comment. So yeah, we start you off thinking about success, thinking about your big ideas, looking at how you're going to measure that success, and then we take a deep dive into truly understanding your customers, identifying your key target groups or segments and what what's really going on for them. And their needs and aspirations are always changing. So it's always really good to challenge yourself on a regular basis to think, am I still, is the business still aligned with what customers are wanting and needing right now? How has that changed? And we've seen that being more important than ever, haven't we, over the last 12 months?
Yeah, we live in an age where if I cast my mind back, not that I'm that old, obviously, but going back 50, 60 years ago, lots of more businesses will be what they call product-based, new business, i.e. this is what we offer, take it or leave it. Nowadays, it's very much, it's got to be a customer-driven proposition, so a lot of us, myself included, don't always necessarily directly think about the different types of customers. Not all customers are created equally. Not all customers want the same thing. It's about the transformation that you want to do. It's about the pains that you're trying to relieve them of, the problems you're trying to solve, but actually understanding also what they contribute, what you contribute. So that's a really fascinating exercise and journey to actually understand that customer base, much more acutely.
Yeah. So you'll map out the customer journey that you want your customers to experience, especially for the developments, for the new things that you want to implement in your business, or the things that you want to improve in your business. So it starts with the customer experience and what you want to create and how that differentiates from your competition, because all of this is about being, standing out for all the right reasons, being distinctive, and not just being in the general noise of product and service provision. It's about having a really unique differentiator. So what we do is we get you set into a position where your understanding of what your customers really want and need, and where the magic happens for customers in terms of them buying from you, meets what you're offering, and then get it so that you can communicate that really well as your value proposition, because that's what a great value proposition is. It's where what you offer is absolutely meeting on the nose what your target customers want, and you're communicating that brilliantly. So we help you with all of that, and it makes such a difference to growth.
Yeah, and all these building blocks that we're looking at, everybody, don't think that they're dealt in isolation. They very much connect with each other, and sometimes you might find things go forward, things go backwards. You may go back and refine. But very much one of the things that Jo was talking about in terms of the customer exercise, it helps you with the messaging, it helps you with the communication, it helps how you represent yourself to that end customer. So these are all really valuable, but they all interconnect with each other.
Yeah, and we've got a question from
great
Richard.
question.
Richard, I don't think you joined us early on in the show, but we did, it's a long one, so I'll have to talk over it like that. But we did wish you a very happy 50th birthday for New Year's Eve. We wondered if you wore your Las Vegas costume at home.
Sure you would,
And happy birthday and happy New Year, Richard. So Richard from Wellmax, Business Growth Club, weekly tasks, email support, but how does it work? Are there virtual meetings? Yes. So what we do is there's a workbook for every week. So there's a task of about 20 minutes. You can spend longer on it. Sometimes people do just because they get really into it and want to spend a bit longer. Me and Mahmood are there for you. There is a virtual group support as well. Thank you for that. Although it's really, good for helping with these, isn't it? And then we have a virtual board meeting for one evening every week, about an hour to an hour and a half. We try and keep it to around that, but sometimes people want us to talk more about different things, and it's fun as well. So there's a virtual board meeting where we share some more content with you in person, live. We get you to think about some stuff. There's some breakout group activity. We use Zoom to do this stuff, and then of course we can help you on an individual basis as well. And what we've found is that people have really got loads and loads of value from the breakout group activity, from hearing what other people are working on. You're all working on the same thing, the same topic each week, even though you're making it your own. And it's, oh, okay, they're talking about that for their business. I'd not thought about that when I did that bit. So that's how it works. So I hope that you said, thanks guys for the pint and the birthday. Oh, you're very welcome. I hope that's answered your question, and we are there to help you with anything. You imagine that you're there and you've got Mahmood's arm through one of your elbows and on one side, and my arm through the other elbow on the other side, and we're there with you, taking your business to the next level. And we're all in. So we just love seeing you all succeed. So that's what we're there to do.
And I think the balance is okay, isn't it, Jo? Because I don't think it's an erroneous amount of time you've got to invest. Yes, we expect people to invest some time. So we know work creeps in. Sometimes you can't always make it. So the events are pre-recorded as well. And I think we have an announcement here. So we have a special new platform being designed this year. So we are obviously going to be blending technology to have the virtual meetings. We are going to have that email communication. You're going to be part of a community, part of a group there. And so we've got a new virtual classroom to unveil in the next 3 weeks as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome. And I think, the other thing to say is that people may have holidays, they might not be feeling very well, and come down with hopefully nothing serious, but just have an off week or whatever. And, the program is built to accommodate that. It's if you miss a week, it's not too hard to catch up the following week. If you miss 2 weeks because you're away for 2 weeks, it's not too hard to catch up for 2 weeks. We recommend you don't take more than 2 weeks out, but you can catch up really quickly, and we're there to help you accelerate on anything that you've missed as well.
I mean, there's details if you check out in there. I'll put the link in at the end in the comments box as well. Me and Jo, actually, when we were thinking about the whole concept, we did the first very successful group. We did the second one. Deliberately, we made a choice not to have it as what we call like an ongoing membership. It's running 3 or 4 times a year. And we deliberately decided by that, because of where we are, because we've got our own independent businesses as well, to actually make the price points more than affordable and accessible. So there are similar courses out there with much less content, which are much more expensive. So for an investment of under 25 quid a week for a 10-week program, for us, we found that was a very affordable price point for people to come in on as well.
Yeah, and I know it's similar for Mahmood, but my private clients for that level of support pay a 4-figure sum for the level of support I provide each week. And so it's we love it, and we love seeing you all be successful, and we
Absolutely.
love seeing you on that journey. You know, that's what it's about for us. We like to make a difference, and we enjoy it. And you know, we learn as much from all of you as well. So we're learning all the time too, which is I think it's a good thing to have, really. So we've talked about setting the vision is number one, and where, you know, that definition of success. It's not just a flaky vision thing. There's nothing wrong with visions. You need a vision, but it's not just, you know, this flaky thing. It's meaningful. You think about big ideas and how you want to move forward, what step change you want to make, how you're going to measure your progress, really look at customers. And then the next stage is to say, okay, how are we going to promote this, market this, and get this, you know, flying and generative, profitable, and doing really, really well in a sustainable way.
And the answer is, by the way, it's not just go on Facebook and do social media. It's about the look, the communication, the style of messaging. Marketing's a very, involved, complex process, but it actually, at its most basic, is a simple concept. You know, you're putting yourself across your customer. How do you engage? How do you find out where they are? How do you get your messaging out? And that process in itself, you know, is a valuable way for you to do that. I think you meant just like a dating service. I think you describe it as almost, Joe. Well, you've got your customer, you've got your matchmaking, and you're actually marrying them together. And marketing plays its part in that process.
And it's also about repelling the people that, you know, you don't want to do business with as well. So, and we really help people with that, because marketing, it isn't about being appealing in a generic way to everybody. It's about being really compelling to the people that you want to do business with, and the people you want to work with. And if that means that you are not at somebody else's cup of tea, then that's absolutely fine, and that's as it should be. So it's important to think about, you know, who you want to work with, and that's really important. If you want to reposition, if you want to, you know, get more, move your client base, perhaps do a different sort of work, or get a higher return on the work that you're doing, or, you know, really up level what you're doing with customers, then that's super important. We also challenge you, because people say, yeah, marketing is this, and then we say, well, is what you're putting out there, is what you're communicating, does that match with what you think you're saying? Does that match with what you want to say and how you want to be perceived? You know, is that all working together holistically for you across the platforms, the personal experience, and everything the customer sees, hears, and touches? Does that all join up in the way that you think it should and the way you want it to?
I mean, coming from all this, if anybody, by the way, thinks the whole objective of the exercise, the whole objective of the Business Growth Club is to end up with a definitive document, here it is, here's my business plan, and that's it, and it's going to gather dust and it's for the bank. That's not the idea behind the Business Growth Club. Yes, it's good to have it manifested in a document. That's a living, breathing thing that you're going to possibly adapt and change as time goes on. But it's as much as about the process and the thinking about the future beyond the next week, beyond the next few weeks here. So all of these things here, when you produce it, yes, the output is a document, but that document is not a static document there as well. So don't think business plan, think about business planning.
Yeah, and you know, you will get wins every single week that you can put into action and do something really practical, really simple and doable. So you're making progress in a really ongoing way. And one of my, I guess, mottos, if you like, is disrupt or be disrupted. And it is so healthy for all of us, you know, and I go out of my way to make sure that I do this for me and my business, and I know Mahmood does as well, is, you know, have somebody shake up your thinking. We don't know it all. We can't see everything, and we don't always have all the best ideas and insights for our business. And if we think we do, then, you know, we're mistaken, to be honest. So it is so good to put yourself out and hear what somebody else thinks to your situation, to your challenges, to your opportunities. How might somebody else tackle it? Because I bet you know, and I'd be really confident in saying that if you're open-minded to that, you will get so much value from it. You will see things you haven't seen before, and have really inspirational insights and aha moments. I know I sound like Alan Partridge. Was that Alan Partridge? Is that really bad?
You're from Yorkshire, not Norwich, so you're okay.
Okay. Yeah,
No,
so,
yeah, 100%, Joe. I think you're right. Well, I know you're right. It's not. I think you're right. You're spot on. It's about. I think that's a danger, isn't it? Because I think we're both very similar in the sense that we don't like to be complacent. Complacency is a bit of a devil in a business there as well. Be open, be receptive. You know, if you don't come in with any fixed ideas about how it's going to happen, it doesn't matter. You know, it's all about joining a community. And I think I like one of the many reasons I like the Business Growth Club, because we learn bits as we go along, but also you're sitting effectively with a group of like-minded individuals who want to do something in their business. All the businesses are going, so they're established. They might be different points in their life cycle, but they bring something to the table that everybody can draw on.
Yeah, and you know, we're very clear about it's about coming in and all, it's doing the work, but it's also enjoyable. So we have a lot of fun on the way. You know, we try and make it something to look forward to doing, whether it's sitting down with a cup of tea or a beer or a glass of red wine or whatever it is, and having a look at your workbook, or the board meetings that we have. They're productive, they're purposeful, they're focused, but they are enjoyable because, you know, business doesn't have to be and shouldn't be, you know, dry, boring and a hard slog. But by the same token, we're not these patronising, you know, coachy types. That coaches aren't patronising. I'm talking about patronising coachy types. That's a holistic phrase. Who will go, follow my 6-step process because I know everything about this, and you do this, you know, press the handle, and out it pops at the other end, right? This is real business with real business people with real experience. Talking realistically about you, your situation, and where you want to be and what's right for you. And that is something that is very, very different. And we get into the nitty-gritty, and we move you forward in a very real and meaningful way.
Perfect. Now, part 1 is done and dusted. We mentioned again, obviously, about this details. I'm going to add some links at the end of it in terms of Business Growth Club. But just go on to Joe's Facebook page, go on to my Facebook page, go on to the Proactive Business Growth Club. You'll read some more details, have a look at it. Part 2, Joe, what's part 2 going to be all about next week?
So part 2, because we wanted to share some content as well. So hopefully, you know, whether or not you do Business Growth Club, you've got 5 things to take away to get off to a flying start to 2021. And they are: know where you want to be, get your big ideas sorted and out there and prioritized, decide how you're going to measure your progress, really have a good think and challenge yourself about the customer experience you're creating, and your value proposition, and think about how you're getting that across. Okay, so there are 5 things to think about.
Yeah.
Next time, we're thinking about another 5 things that, when you put it all together, what you get is a really solid, flexible, personalized business plan to take you on the growth journey from where you are now to where you want to be this year and beyond.
Yeah, and you've got measurable outcomes at the end of the 10-week program. You've got, if it's feeling overwhelming, by the way, so try not to come into this overwhelmed. I don't think that there's a single member of the Business Growth Club that we had from last time that actually, you know, didn't get something from it, didn't benefit their business in some way, which is, you know, a good thing. It's a positive thing, and I think that's a great thing to be involved in. And I'm looking forward to next week, and I'm looking forward to actually kickstarting Business Growth Club. What do we call it? 3.7? It's
Business Growth Club January 21, isn't it?
I'll just think back with a number there.
Yeah, that's what it is. So so if you've got any questions, then, you know, please do feel free to ask them here or wherever. It's the Big Bang Partnership for me on Facebook if you want to look at this there, or as Mahmood said, it's on your LinkedIn feed, isn't it, as well? It will be, as well as the Facebook feed as well. And
there's one thing you mentioned about the YouTube channel. There is a podcast coming out this week on the 7th. We will publish that and let you know via the usual channels as well. So I'm looking forward to podcast number 1 coming out this week.
Yeah. So that's exciting. So we've got lots of plans for 2021 as well. And we follow our own advice. We have our own Business Growth Club session at 7:30 every Tuesday morning, and we have had that without fail since we first started this back in March 2020. So
that's great effort. I didn't realise it. Yeah, uninterrupted, so it's pretty good going.
Yeah. So there we go. So brilliant. We hope to see you next week. Hear from you soon. We're back same time, same place next week. But in the meantime, do stay safe and let us know if there's anything we can help with.
Fantastic. Everyone stay sanguine, stay positive, stay prosperous, and we'll see you next week. Let's play out with some music.
Hi there, welcome to today's Business Growth Club show. We are so pleased to have you here. The theme is growth marketing.
We're talking about actions and consequences today.
It's all about purpose.
Driving business growth with using KPIs.
We're talking money mindset.